start with some straight talk. What are we really trying to achieve anymore when it comes to our pandemic protections? Coloradans are not dying of COVID in the numbers that they were. Our hospitals are not overwhelmed. It can feel like we're moving the goalposts. At the very least, we've been changing our goals. Anusha Roy has some perspective on what we really should be paying attention to.
There is one goal that has stayed the same.
Keep mortality down.
Which is why we've talked so much about hospitalizations. So why is the alarm being sounded on case counts?
So keep in mind that case count's kind of a precursor to hospitalizations.
The city of Denver says it's seen the Delta variant circulate during the summer when respiratory viruses tend not to do as well.
We saw them drop last summer. And it's going up.
And for the state,
we are seeing cases increase, and honestly, just in the last week or so, we have now started to see a clear increase in hospitalization. Unvaccinated Coloradans now are really at greater risk than they've ever been since the beginning of the pandemic.
But doctors say this is about more than just the unvaccinated. They said keep in mind the immunocompromised who may not have as much of a robust reaction to the vaccine, kids too young to get their shots, and then what could happen down the line that would impact the community at large.
The more people we have unvaccinated, the more infections we have. The more infections we have, the more variants we have. And eventually we could have a variant where the current vaccine doesn't work at all.
The changing mask recommendations, regardless of vaccine status, and talks about case counts and Delta are also meant for prevention.
Based on the modeling data that we've seen, we think that we should be in a pretty good place when it comes to hospital capacity.
They're not threatened at this point in terms of the care that they can provide, but we don't want to get there.
Doctors say their goalposts haven't changed.
Obviously, it's veering us off and that more people are getting sick.
The virus itself did.
You can still enjoy time with your friends and your family, but knowing that status of vaccination is a big deal. I think that's something I would include in the equation.
So Dr. Barron there is talking about COVID precautions and weighing risks when getting together with people. And doctors are still saying that the vaccines are providing a high level of protection for the fully vaccinated, and that for the smaller number of breakthrough cases, most of them are mild and asymptomatic, Kyle.
Anusha, you don't have to look away as far as Florida to see states where things have gotten away from them recently.
Yeah, I had a really interesting conversation with an ICU doctor from Denver Health today who said that they've started getting calls from hospitals from other states. He's talking about Oklahoma and Utah, asking for help, saying they're inundated with COVID patients at this point and that they're looking for hospital beds because they're running out of space and capacity to take care of these people. That's a really tricky situation, though, because hospitals like Denver Health, they're super busy right now, Kyle. And it's not just because of COVID, it's because of other chronic health conditions, substance abuse, things that were not necessarily treated throughout the pandemic that's also filling up hospital beds right now.
We do have to remember that even if the hospitalized are surviving, if they're taking up beds that people need for emergency care, that's bad news.
Exactly.
Thank you, Anusha. The E. coli in the water warning rattled cell phones across the Denver metro area this afternoon. Never mind that it only applies to a piece of the city of Englewood. The city blew up phones from Highlands Ranch to Aurora. And Englewood said they're not sorry about doing that. Englewood said this boil water order only applies to what they call Zone 1 of the city. It's a portion of Englewood, and Englewood's on its own water supply. It's separate from Denver Health, which services much of the metro area for water. A lot of Denver Water customers got that emergency alert. The E. coli was found at one testing site in Englewood, prompting this alert to go out to just about everyone. Not clear how the E. coli got in the water. City's flushing the water lines and telling people to boil or buy bottled water until that's done. Englewood tonight was unapologetic for blanketing the metro area with the alert, told us, quote, "It's better for the alert to go out to more people than not enough." Englewood declined to say if it meant to send the alert to everyone or if that was a mistake. Google, great at tracking us, not great at helping us around Colorado's sudden and very long mountain detours these days. People have been laughing out loud at some of Google's suggested routes to get people even from just like Rifle to Glenwood Springs right now. They're taking people 2 to 4 hours out of their way. So while I-70 is closed in the canyon east of Glenwood, you can absolutely take I-70 from Rifle to Glenwood right now. No long detour needed. And don't take my word for it. You look at CDOT's website. It shows some red for congestion on the highway between Rifle and Glenwood Springs, but no black for closure until you are east of Glenwood. CDOT is having the eastbound traffic at Rifle checked out. It's trying to make sure that people aren't thinking that they can go further east than Glenwood on I-70, and any driver that's unaware and wanting to get to the Front Range, that's when they get detoured many hours up to Steamboat and down to Silverthorne. Federal judge in Colorado is going to make election lying expensive again, issuing a devastating takedown of some lawyers who were spreading President Trump's election rigging lies and ordering those lawyers to pay their opponents' legal fees. The former president's big lie that the election was rigged and stolen has been repeated by everyone from Colorado's elected Republicans to a number of baseless lawsuits that have been thrown out in court. In tossing this one, the judge based in Denver said it was, quote, the stuff of which violent insurrections are made. The lawsuit, dismissed earlier this year, names election officials, it names Facebook, it names Dominion Voting Systems, which is based in Denver. You may have heard that Dominion's CEO went into hiding after conspiracy theorists threatened his life over the election. The two lawyers who got hit with this today, Gary Fielder and Ernest Walker, are ordered to pay their defendants' legal fees. Should make clear, this case is not connected to any other Trump lawyers in Colorado, namely Jenna Ellis. She was the Coloradan who quite prominently was the president's legal advisor. Lately, Ellis has been pushing new conspiracy theories about the Capitol police officers who died by suicide after fighting off January 6th attempted coup. Olympic homecomings, they're extra special this year because family and friends were not allowed to go to Tokyo to watch the games, to watch the people they love compete. So that's why our Matt Renew's out at DIA this evening. Matt, two Coloradans came home from Tokyo today, one with a gold medal in her bag or around her neck. I would not put a gold medal or any kind of medal in a checked bag or carry-on.
It was carry-on, Kyle, right there in the backpack, and it was Longmont resident Valerie Allman. She won the gold medal in discus. That hasn't happened since 2008, just went through the airport. Right behind her, Yul Moldauer, a gymnast who grew up in Colorado, both of them arriving to cheers, hugs, and some very happy families. Valerie didn't waste 1 second to hug her mom and dad after arriving in Denver, who were at DIA to see her along with Valerie's brother and sister-in-law, and the most important, Ollie, her dog. Her family told Valerie if she threw that discus far enough, she'd get special cookies. That and motivation for the gold medal was all this Olympic champion needed, showing off that golden hardware and getting a loud applause from everyone at the airport, including Yul Moldauer, who got home tonight with a very large crowd, family and friends from his training gym 5280, including a lot of kids who would like to be an Olympian someday, all at the airport cheering for Yul, who placed 6th in men's gymnastics floor and 5th in the team event. It's a special homecoming for athletes who went to these Olympics alone, but felt their love and support from their loved ones from thousands of miles away.
My family is my biggest support system, and they were there in spirit, but oh gosh, to come home and have them here, that was so nice.
Very special moment. Both those Olympians deserve a little downtime and a little rest, but there are still athletes out at the games, and one Colorado company is going to be watching the feet of the athletes that are still out there very closely. Zero Shoes, based in Broomfield, just got its foot in the big door of the Olympics by getting its shoes on the artistic synchronized swim team of the U.S. artistic team.
Okay, so we've got a call for him.
It's probably spam.
Oh, probably.
At the Zero Shoe Company in Broomfield, CEO Steven Sashin's small shoe company is getting its foot in a very big door. Zero Shoes are designed to feel like you're not wearing much of a shoe at all, and that's something some athletes like a lot. So those shoes are now on the feet of the U.S. artistic swim team when they walk around the pool, and on the feet of some archers at the Olympics as well.
They needed shoes to get to and from the pool, and they needed shoes when they're on the podium winning awards. So happily they reached out to us. The shoes that they're using, the important part is for artistic swimming, foot strength is really important. And our shoes are crazy, crazy flexible. So there's research that shows if you can bend and move your feet in shoes like this, you're building intrinsic foot muscle strength as much as doing an actual exercise program. Just walking in shoes gives you foot strengthening like doing an exercise program.
All the things those artistic swimmers need. Zero Shoes were on Shark Tank. They said they were offered an investment, turned it down, and look, they ended up at the Olympics, so they're doing pretty well. There are still some athletes at the Olympics, too, we're watching very closely in sport climbing. Brooke Rabatou has made it to the final round in sport climbing. She will have that final climb on Friday. But Kyle, tomorrow morning it's Colin Duffy out of Broomfield who will be competing for the medal. We're going to be at one of the many watch parties that he'll have around this town, and that is extremely early in the morning. We're pumped up for it.
You're pumped up for everything. And tonight, Matt, I learned that the artistic swimmers wear shoes. Could have fooled me on that one. Thank you, sir. America is spoiled by Olympic success. This is not to say that our Olympians do not earn it, because they are exceptional. I'm saying that we at home are spoiled by their success. We sit back and just kind of count the gold medals by the dozen. I hope that we truly appreciate each medal, for the pinnacle of achievement that represents for an athlete. That's one of the reasons that we have decided to also highlight the Liberian Olympic team here on Next at Night. 3 athletes competing for Liberia against the odds to bring one of the poorest countries in the world its first ever Olympic medal. And Liberia's final hope in Tokyo came down to 19-year-old Joseph Fahnbulleh, who lined up this morning against the fastest men in the world in the 200 meters. Shall we play that Liberian national anthem? Fahnbulleh trailed early in the race before he turned on what was the fastest finishing kick in the field. He is second from the left, closing fast, but not fast enough. Too far behind, Fahnbulleh finished 5th. It is Liberia's best Olympic finish ever, and a national record for Liberia in the 200. And as a teenager in an older field, Fahnbulleh gives Liberia real hope for a medal in 2024. I guess we'll show this to you here one more time. They leave with zeros. Too bad. Hope that next still around 2024 when Joseph Fahnbulleh can put a medal up there. We got some grief from a couple of viewers for featuring the Liberian team along with our profiles on American Olympians. We have also heard from some of you who loved an underdog spotlight, and perhaps most importantly, heard from some of you who have ties to that part of the world. One example, Eddie in Denver wrote that for decades, Liberia has not been known for anything good, just war. This young population, Eddie said, will bring Liberia on the world map. Great message from Eddie. So we asked you at home to select the nonprofit for this week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign, and several of you wrote in with a common theme. You asked if we might honor Simone Biles' incredible tenacity in these games by helping out children who, like Simone Biles, spent time in the foster care system. That's a beautiful idea. So your Word of Thanks microgiving campaign this week supports the foster care program from Lutheran Family Services Rocky Mountain, one of the largest and most respected nonprofits in that field. The donations that we pull together this week will help recruit and train new families to welcome foster children into their homes. It'll provide support for families that are dealing with foster children who are in crisis and with special needs. It'll buy those kids clothes and school supplies, and it'll help the foster parents afford to throw them birthday and holiday parties that they will remember as a happy time in their lives. There are thousands of children in foster care across Colorado. We don't know if the next gold medal gymnast or other Olympian is among them, but we do know that many of those children will share Simone Biles' toughness and determination throughout life. Lutheran Family Services Rocky Mountain shares that determination to help these kids and their foster families in Colorado thrive in the face of adversity and challenges. Thank you for your suggestion this week. If you text the word thanks to 303-871-1491, I'll text you that link to give. And as always, I'll match the first 50 donations of $5 to get us going. In honor of Simone Biles, in appreciation for foster parents, and in support of all of the Colorado kids in foster care, let's do something special together.
Last year's fires directly led to this year's mudslides. Could this year's rains hold off a second summer season of record-setting fires? And admit it, there's some Olympic sport you think you could kind of pull off.
Curling is the Olympic sport everyone watches and says, I can do that. So what do curlers think is the Summer Olympic version of the sport anyone can do? Next.
The Front Range and the Western Slope are increasingly cut off from each other. You got the flash flooding on the burn scar that's closed I-70 in Glenwood Canyon indefinitely. Independence Pass, not an official detour, also closed with the mudslide today. Though we have heard from some of you wondering if Perhaps at least the rain might hold off the summer's worst fires. So Glenwood Canyon's seen 3 times the amount of summer rain it saw last year. The assistant state climatologist told us that amount of rain is helpful in holding off some wildfires, but might not have stopped last year's Grizzly Creek fire.
Wildfires are a normal part of Colorado summers in the mountains and the forests. It's a very natural cycle. And the Grizzly Creek fire wasn't so large that it might still have happened in a non-drought year, depending on what the weather conditions are like.
Dr. Becky Bollinger told us she's confident that our recent rainstorms will minimize the risk of big fires for about a month.
Tracking showers on the far eastern plains with the potential for some flooding rain in Los Alamos and Bend counties. That line of storms moving into Nebraska and Kansas. Behind it, dry air for a change after days of heavy flooding rainfall. Not only cooler temperatures today, but the flash flood watch canceled, and we're saying goodbye to the flooding rain and mudslides for a time. Clearing skies overnight, but smoke and haze a big part of our forecast. The brighter the color, the worse the smoke and haze, and we do expect air quality alerts to be posted not only tonight, but again tomorrow for much of the Front Range. Fair skies, 59 tonight. It is calm, it is hazy, it is dry. Tomorrow's high back to 90 degrees. Matter of fact, we do 90 to 95 for Thursday, Friday, right into the weekend with only isolated thunderstorms to worry about early next week.
6 months from today, when the Winter Olympics begins, you can bet somebody's going to set down their beer and go, you know, I could medal in curling. Well, that's not very fair to the curlers, unless they're equally confident that they could conquer a Summer Olympic sport. Our Marshall Zellinger asked him.
Okay, everybody, let's split up, get some of those practice slides in.
This, for our age, at least for some of us our age, this is our only hope at the Olympics. So the other sports were past our prime.
David is looking to steal an Olympic spot. Sweep! Sweep it! Which is odd because David is a burglary and robbery detective.
Yeah, with our work, we're driving back and forth on 6th Avenue, and one day we saw a bunch of cars outside, and we said, we've never been at a curling center.
We don't cheer when the other team misses. The downtime should be summer. And here we are.
Nancy runs the events at the Denver Curling Center in Golden.
Nice, steady on the release.
Which is just as busy in the summer, 6 months away from the Winter Olympics.
Oh yeah, I mean, we sold out in our instructional mini leagues in about 90 minutes.
Look what's happening.
I mean, look, we're a Wednesday night in the summer when people could be out hiking or having a margarita on their deck, and they're in here wanting to curl.
So if this is the Winter Olympic sport that has anyone, myself included, thinking I'm going to earn a medal one day, what's the Summer Olympic event anyone could compete in?
The Summer Olympics version of curling. That is a tough one.
Archery?
Jeez.
Beach volleyball, because I like beach volleyball. Because there's strategy to it.
Communication-wise, volleyball comes to mind.
And you kind of have to make the call split second. So sometimes we have to make the call, you know, split second on this.
Badminton. Not table tennis the way they play, that's for sure.
It takes stones to try to qualify for the Olympics.
All right, Kim, you got it.
Tonight, David's Olympic dreams are sliding away.
And based on our overall performance, probably not, but it's still good to dream.
Let's look at the events that are more likely that we could qualify for the Olympics, something like cornhole or ladder golf, and I'm not going to do that because we saw how good I was on the ice. They're not Olympic sports yet, but we know, Kyle, that if they were in the Summer Olympics, we'd crush these. Behind me now, there's some practice going on still in the curling center, and 3 of them here. In red here is Daryl, and just down the way here, Claire and Lance are Olympic hopefuls. They hope to do it in the mix, Daryl in the men's, and actually Lance in yellow down there is already qualified for the Olympic trials in a men's event. Kyle.
Okay, Marshall, legitimately now, you are one of the most athletic people that I know. How hard was curling?
Very difficult. I thought I had balance, and as soon as you let go of the pads here, and I forget what it's called already, you're all over the place.
It's good stuff. Thanks, Marshall.
A sisterly bond between Denver and a city in Japan. It's not just talk. They're similar.
It's laid back, great outdoor stuff. Very Colorado.
The city's sibling in Japan. Next. Axum, Ethiopia. Cuernavaca, Mexico. Takayama, Japan. Guessing not many of us give any thought to Denver's sister cities around the world. The connection is real, though. Tonight, Takayama.
It's neat to have a Japanese garden in the middle of urban Denver. We are in the city of Takayama Park at the intersection of Cherry Creek Drive and Colorado Boulevard. My name is Gil Asakawa, and I am the chair of the Denver Takayama Sister City Committee. Sister Cities International was started in 1956 by President Eisenhower. He started a lot of things because he believed in international outreach. Takayama was the second sister city for the city of Denver, and we were founded in 1960. It's a beautiful town. It has a feel of Denver because it has this clean air, mountain kind of scenery. They have two pretty famous annual festivals. They're very similar in that they all feature these, they're called yatai, but here in the U.S. we would call them floats. When we went there, we saw the fall festival, and it was amazing. It was like a taste of Colorado, all these food vendors along the walkway. It's such a cool little town with all these little hills, and you can look over the city. On one of these hills, there's the city of Denver Park. The world is all connected now. You know, the Olympics are just proof of that. So we really want to make sure that people know about Takayama. It's a beautiful town. It's laid back, great outdoor stuff. Very Colorado in lots of ways.
There are 10 sister cities in Colorado connected to cities in Japan. Boulder and Yamagata City, Broomfield and Ueda City, Greeley and Moriatown are some of them. Simone Biles. She went from the foster care system to Olympic history. Tonight, a bunch of us are chipping in to help kids in foster care in Colorado channel their toughness into something great in their lives. That and your feedback next. Each week, Next viewers pile up a mountain of $5 donations to give a Colorado nonprofit a big, unexpected boost. This week, at your suggestion, in honor of Simone Biles, we're supporting Colorado's foster families so that kids can emerge from foster care and succeed, just as Simone Biles did. Text thanks to 303-871-1491. I'll send you that link to join me and a bunch of other people in donating $5 or more. We're going to support Lutheran Family Services Rocky Mountains Foster Care Program. They've been around a long time. They do great work. Our donations will recruit families and help them with expenses and provide special gifts and experiences for those kids. In feedback, Clara says, thank you so much for showcasing Liberia. It was nice to see my small country being highlighted. And Roddy says, Clark needs to keep his political rhetoric to himself. Back to no BS Fox News. Roddy, travel safely up the dial. Rest you, I'll see you next time.